Hello, everybody. My name is Mark, and today I'm going to be doing a little playthrough of a puzzle game called Nori Nori. Um, so, as you can see right here, dead set in the middle, we have a square, and if you can kind of look inside the square and kind of see that some of these lines are bold or black, you can kind of make out some shapes here, and to me, a lot of them kind of resemble Tetris pieces. Um, so, yeah. So, the objective is for each piece that is in this square, you need to have two of the squares in each shape shaded. So, I'm going to kind of demonstrate that by pressing a square. Bottom right, you have one shaded square here. So, the objective is to, yes, have two shaded squares per piece. Here's an example. But this is for each piece in the square. That is how you win. But there are some things that will keep you from winning. So I'm going to demonstrate some no-nos. So one thing that is not allowed, obviously, in one piece, and even if you actually cross over from one piece to another, which is a possibility, which I will most likely demonstrate when we go through this playthrough officially. So here's an example. You cannot have three shaded squares in a row. It turns red, just indicating that this is not a possibility that will lead you to success. So we're gonna take this out. So that's one thing you cannot do. And another thing you cannot do is you cannot have an L shape. This, I will give you an example here. You cannot have an L shape like so. Okay. You see it's red, indicating that it's not working. So there, or here. So just to give you an example. Okay. So I'm going to start this. I think I'm going to reset the timer. And then I'm going to kind of walk you through it. Okay. So here's a strategy that I always like to start with. I always start with the smallest piece. It's just a little easier to get it going for me if I start with the smallest piece. So in the middle on the top, I see there's a piece that's only 2 squares, which is the minimum of what you need to do for each piece. So we're going to shade these in. Okay, so we got things started. So I'm going to kind of work my way from here out and in from this shaded piece. Okay, so we know that the piece to the left and the right, and even the bottom of the shaded squares that I filled out, I cannot do one here. I cannot do one here. I cannot do one here. And I cannot do one here. So we know, things that are not possible. And I'm going to start with the piece on the right. We know that obviously we can't have 3 across. This is 3 pieces, or this is 3 squares for the piece. So we know that this is the only possibility. Okay, so we have that shape done, and that's good. That's progress. I think one thing I failed to mention is, yes, you have to have 2 squares shaded per piece, but they also always have to be connecting. There has to be 2 shaded squares connected to each other. And I think the rules, if I scroll up on the top of the page, I think they just refer to them as dominoes. So that's kind of what I visualize as I'm playing through. I'm like, okay, so you have to have 2 shaded squares. They gotta always be connected. Two only. So let's keep this going. So we can kind of look at the middle piece now from where we started. I know that this will not work. L shapes for both of those shaded squares, so that does not work. We know that this will not work. So with 4 pieces, we are ready, and knowing that we only can shade in 2 squares, these are our only possibilities. So we already got 3 pieces done, which is good. With what I explained earlier, they also have to be connected to another shaded square. We got to make a domino, right? So we know with what I just filled in that this is one of our options, or well, this is one of our answers, and then here is another one. So now let's work on the last square that needs to be shaded in for the left piece. We know that this is a upside down L, right? We know that the 2 squares that are unshaded at the top, they will not work. They will make an L, they will make 3 in a row. Those 2 will not work. We really know that just the square at the bottom of the upside down L is the only possibility. So here we go. We have 2 shaded squares here for that piece. And since they have to be connected only by one other square, we know that this extends here. Okay, so if you guys want to pause and kind of look at it, even it does kind of like I have to kind of stop and look at it for a second myself, especially at some of the shapes that are just kind of big and kind of just extending halfway across the squares. So I know that this middle piece, I don't even know what to call it, but I know that it's filled in. So all right, so really we just have 2 pieces, and they're the 3 pieces on the bottom. So there's only one possibility for the bottom left piece, and that is this, because we got to avoid 3 in a row. And if that's the case, then here is one of them, and I'm about to complete this because the piece on the left would make 3 in a row. So here, and there you go. We have completed a playthrough. Okay, so I hope this was helpful enough to get you started. But yeah, thank you so much for taking the time to listen, and I hope you have a good day.